Hi, Village employees, and welcome to the first episode of our 2025 Village Employee Connection podcast series. I'm so happy to have my first guest, Eddie Zrimsek, the DC Ranch Spa Director. Welcome to the podcast, Eddie.
Thank you, Diana. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're joining us today and can't wait to get into all of the happenings at the DC Ranch Spa with you. First, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and your journey to become the spa director at DC Ranch?
Sure, Diana. So I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where I grew up. So I'm still a Packers fan, still a Bucks fan. That doesn't leave you. Um, I had very young parents growing up, or they were very young when they had my sister and I. They were very active. And so we did a lot of camping as kids, a lot of road trips. They were a lot of fun. So I think that's where my sense of adventure started. I attended a very small private Catholic high school. After high school, I participated in an immersion program in Germany and studied the
Oh,
summer after high school. That was really fun and just a really, great way to just see the world and see life differently. And after that, I attended Marquette University and studied medical laboratory technology. And
wow.
decided not to pursue that path. And then during school, if people remember, I worked for Blockbuster Video way back when. And I became a store manager at 21. I was running a store in Milwaukee, a very busy store. It was the pilot store, actually. So when corporate came to visit, that was the store that they came to visit because it was close to the airport. So that was really my first experience with operations and team leadership.
Okay.
And I just loved it. That was great. After that, I was looking for some work and got an opportunity through a temp agency as a contractor with IBM. I started as a data maintenance rep and I moved into a team coordinator role and then a team lead in the center. This was, of course, over the course of about 6 years. I also became the center trainer for our software for new hires.
Oh,
So every week I was meeting with anybody that was new to the center and taking them through all of our procedures, policies, and our software. I loved that. Being data maintenance reps, we had to come up with the best ways to do things or our best practices in our data maintenance centers. So they asked a team of us to travel to Scotland and meet with each other and develop these best practices for IBM and the data maintenance center. So that was really fun to do. I think of just something that just came to my head funny, but I can remember sitting in a conference room in the middle of nowhere in Greenwich, Scotland, and looking over, and there's goats on the side of the hill. It was just a really cool experience. Working, in IBM it was very inclusive. It had a great supportive company culture. So I think, adding to my previous experience too, that just continued to move that ball forward for me and all my interests as far as professionally goes. 2006, I moved to Arizona from Wisconsin. IBM was ending at that time. So again, we were winding down. And then eventually everyone in our center had basically lost their jobs. So that was a tough situation to go through, but also a really great learning experience. And then in 2009 was really my first exposure to hospitality in the spa industry.
okay.
And that was when this beautiful, great resort was opening, the Mauna Lucia. I attended a job fair, and ironically, I was interviewed by Kirk Greger, who is our spa director at the Gainey location.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know any of this. This is so interesting.
Yes, so Kirk was working in management at the spa at that time, and he hired me to work in the spa. I started out as an attendant. We were a very large spa. We had 25 treatment rooms, 2 levels, full salon. So really, that was my boot camp into the spa world. We grew the business to about $7 million a year within those years, and it was not uncommon for us to have like 250 spa treatments a day. So
Whoa.
yeah, so a really, really busy really busy spa. In 2014, I moved back to Wisconsin for about a year and a half to be with family. And I joined Target. And I was a sales floor leader for a Target store. So that was really fun. I walked about 10 miles a day. You walk a lot at Target. But again, a great culture to work in. And that's where I gained a lot of my retail experience as far as operations were concerned. 2016, the Mauna Lucia called and they said, would you come back to Arizona? And we have a different position we'd like you for. And it was their director of retail for the resort. And then also transitioning back into spa leadership role as an assistant spa director. And I left the Mauna Lucia in 2018. I went to the Arizona Biltmore. And that was a Waldorf Astoria resort at that time. And I was the assistant spa director there. Then 2019, I moved to Colorado to run a spa there.
Okay.
That was the end of 2019. And as you know, that was the beginning of COVID, right at the beginning of 2020. And I stayed on in our spa for the next year during COVID and managed and navigated through all of that. So that our owner didn't have to close the spa during that time. I loved Colorado, but the altitude just wasn't for me. So I decided to move back to Arizona, and that is when the opportunity at the Village became available. All the stars aligned. I applied, I interviewed, I loved it right away, and the rest is history.
That's amazing. I just listening to your path and your experience is very impressive. I must tell you, Eddie, I didn't know any of that about you. And I feel like we're even luckier to have you on our Village team, Eddie. That's amazing. What are some of your responsibilities and what are maybe the top 2 or 3 things you focus on as the spa director at DC Ranch?
Sure. Sometimes I joke and I feel like I'm an air traffic controller. I'm in a very busy spa. No, but seriously, my job responsibilities mainly are, for the business of the spa and salon is keeping a safe and clean environment where we can perform our spa services and our salon services, keeping our staff and our members and guests safe. That's number one. Creating, great experiences and treatments, whether they be for rejuvenation or recovery or relaxation in the spa. So having some really great offerings that are attractive to people, keeping that fresh in the spa, and making sure that, we have what we need and my team has what they need every day to complete their jobs the best. So that's really important to me. My day, it always starts off with, I'm usually the first one here. I'm one of those people.
Yes.
But it is kind of going through the facility, checking to make sure everything is working correctly. As the team starts to come in, greeting the team, talking with them. I'm pretty social, so I just want to make sure that everyone's good. They have what they need to start the day, and then it's really looking at our schedule of services every day. You're constantly doing that as a spa director, as a spa coordinator, anybody in the spa, really. We're always looking at the schedule. Once we get the day established with the schedule, we're welcoming guests in, we're taking phone calls, we're taking reservations, we're assisting people that are walking into the spa. For me, once everything's settled, things are, rolling really well. I'm definitely checking financials. I'm looking at the prior day, see where we are to budget, and then forecasting as well, looking at the next couple of days, looking at the next week, seeing where our opportunities are, where we could add on availability to the schedule. If we're falling behind, what creatively or anything that we can do to help boost business during that time.
And I actually know that you have increased your revenue at DC Ranch over the past 5 years. How do you make sure that you do stay on budget or increase your revenue?
Sure. I mean, the first thing I want to say is I was very fortunate to inherit a really well-established team. Team members that have been here for years. They're dedicated, they're caring, and they're very knowledgeable. We always have opportunities to add on. So, if someone is getting a massage or a facial service, there's always, additional things that we can suggest. And I mean that in a really soft way. It's not a hardcore selling approach. It's just more of this is what's available to you. So our team does a great job of that, and that definitely helps increase revenue. And increases the guest experience overall. Another thing that we do to gain revenue is just creating retention, creating a yearning to return, and the team does a fabulous job at that.
Guests at the DC Ranch Spa, I'm sure, are pampered and treated like kings and queens. Can you share with us a particularly unique or unforgettable guest experience you've witnessed?
So, Diana, my example was from the Mauna Lucia. So I don't have one from the village.
Maybe that's a good thing.
um, no, I just there's just an experience that really sticks out in my head over the years.
Yeah,
And
tell us about it.
it's probably one of the worst things that can happen in a spa when you're working at a spa desk. And I was this particular day, I was down with our team at the spa desk. It was a very busy Saturday, and the door opened up to the spa, and it was a group of 9 ladies coming in, just flew into the resort. Ready to start their experience for the day, and they come up to the counter, and I could feel it right away. I just knew it. And they were ready there, ready to start their spa day. And we looked down in the books, and none of them were on the schedule.
Oh no.
Right.
Oh no. Panic ensued.
Exactly.
What did you do?
So much good came out of it. I couldn't believe it. I was working with about 3 other people at the time. We all just looked at each other, and for some reason, our minds just all clicked together. We didn't get upset. We didn't get stressed. We were just very honest about the situation right away, and just explained, it must have been booked on a different day. We just didn't go into too many excuses.
Okay,
Which was
good.
honest right away. And they appreciated that. But we were able to, call the hotel, get them lunch reservations, get them a cabana at the pool, do all these different things where they could go do that, where we figured it out in the spa. It all ended up working out on a couple days throughout the weekend. But they were just most really happy about just our transparency and our honesty in the situation. They were all actually really understanding.
It sounds like you handled it so well. And I'm sure all of your experience, Eddie, and even your demeanor as a person, you're able to handle these situations. So I give you a big, great job for that one. Why don't we go into a little bit about the spa industry and what trends are in the industry? I know that you were instrumental in bringing the red light therapy to the spas. I'm not sure we all have them in all the spas yet, but talk a little bit about industry trends and a little bit about the red light therapy.
A really, way that the whole industry is moving, our whole health and wellness industry is more towards wellness, overall wellness, recovery, all these different things. And so you can see that in the fitness world, you can see that in the spa world.
Definitely.
They're really intertwined that way. Red light therapy, which has actually been around for a long time, the technology has.
Okay.
It's just become really big again because of the health benefits that people are seeing, especially when it comes to recovery. We offer it both in our body services, so in our massage services, as well as our facial services. For body services, it can really help address any kind of muscle and joint aches, any kind of inflammation. It can help with scarring. It can help with wound healing. On the skin part or the facial part, it can help with collagen production. It can help with, again, reduction of fine lines and wrinkles. It can help with inflammation. And again, just overall wellness. The one thing I love about it is it has a mental aspect to it too, where it can produce serotonin in the brain, and it actually produces a really good, just a really good feeling of well-being and relaxation.
The spas offer a monthly special, and I just like the collateral for those because it's tied to a holiday or a specific theme. Can you walk us through the creative process behind designing those promotions?
So it's really a team effort. A lot of the ideas, they can come from us, the leadership team, but also a lot of the ideas are coming from our actual team members that are performing the services and working with
Cool.
this projects, yeah, or with the products. It is really cool. We have our major skincare lines that they're all working with on a daily basis in their facials and in their massages. So they have their favorites, but they have, ones too that know produce the best benefits. And so we try to keep that in focus. Once the treatments are created, we do discuss them as, our team. We discuss them in our spa meetings and we choose which ones we'd like. We do that 3 months in advance so that they're also
Wow.
ready for our guide. And then those treatments go to marketing, and then they design, our beautiful collateral around that, and that's what you see in the clubs and online every day.
Yeah, we have some really good treatments. And I always think about during spring training, you guys seem to have a double header of some sort treatment that makes me laugh. What is one of the most important things about your department you want our employees to know? And how can our employees support your team?
I would love everyone to know in all the clubs that they have they have the ability to have access to our spas. We offer a discount for every employee of the village. It's 30% off services, and it's also 30% off any of our spa retail in the spa. So that is just a great perk for us to all have and be able
Definitely.
to experience the spas. I know as directors too, if there's particular days where we may be slower, we may extend extra special savings to employees. We may have new treatments we want to try out, so we need models to try out those treatments. But just for everyone to know that we're a full service spa and salon.
It's always such a great experience at our spas, and I know that has a lot to do with your leadership. And I hear nothing but good things about you from your employees and from your peers. So another kudos to you, Eddie. You're one of my favorite people, which I have a lot of favorite people, but you're one of them, Eddie. Eddie, I do see you motivating your team often just by the example that you set, and you really create an environment where people feel that it's okay to communicate and to give feedback. What do you think are important ways to motivate your team?
I think you just mentioned it, Diana. I mean, being very open. I think all of us on the team just being open with each other to be able to be approachable, to be able to talk, freely about really anything when it comes to work. Um, you know, I think we all grow as a team personally as well. We become, in each other's lives, we're spending a lot of time with each other, and so we learn what we love to do. And I think it's just focusing on those things again, what people love and their strengths, and having fun with it. But we have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. Everyone is very supportive of each other.
And when I talk about your team, I'm not just talking about your staff. I know that the management team at DC Ranch is a really strong team, and I know you all support each other often. And did you have a spa event recently? Talk a little bit about this spa event that you had.
Sure. We our spa open house was last night actually, and It's become sort of a legacy event here at DC Ranch. This is about our fourth one that we've done on this scale, and
Wow.
it just continues to grow and grow. The members love it. We have a lot of our repeat spa and salon guests, but we're now seeing, even last night, we got a call from someone that is just a non-member guest. They heard about it and they asked if they could come, and we're like, absolutely, everybody's welcome. So that was really fun. But yeah, and getting ready for the event, there's always a lot of prep involved. It's a lot of work. And everyone that I worked with, for management everyone helped out. Every department, what can we do to help? And that's one thing I love about the village, and I love about everyone that works here is everyone really has that helping spirit. We all want to support each other, and we just want to have fun. So that made the event go really smoothly last night. Everyone stuck around and helped, and we had a lot of fun. But yeah, we had about 100 people last night.
Oh my goodness. And how often do you have these, Eddie?
We've started doing them now 2 times a year. Uh,
Okay.
and they involve us asking some of our vendors to come. So they set up little tables, they talk about products, and then our team actually performs mini services. So 10-minute scalp massages, 10-minute polish changes, things like that. So everyone's getting a little experience in the spa, as well as meeting the team. And they may be able to find a provider that they connect with and then book a service and see what everything we offer. So it's become a great event.
Yes, and it's good for retention, but it sounds like it's good to get new guests interested in booking services. So that sounds wonderful. I'll have to check that out later in the
Oh,
year when you have your second one. We're almost to the end of the podcast, but I want to know, do you have any valuable lessons you've learned since working at the village that you'd like to share?
I think just for me personally, it's making healthy choices that are so important to your life. We're so lucky to work in an environment where people are really just trying to improve their life or maintain their wellness. And so we can get really busy in our jobs, and I think sometimes we can forget that, but we're in that environment and we have that all available to us as well. So I know I've learned just so many things personally that I can do to improve my own health and wellness. So that's been the most valuable lesson. And then just it's a community, we're a team environment, and going back to just how we support each other, I think is just a really valuable lesson.
As we wrap up our conversation, will you share an inspiring quote or a mantra that guides you?
Sure. One I can think of that's top of my head is and people have probably already heard it, but when you get ready for the day and you're ready to go, not thinking about what do I have to do today, but what do I get to do today. So if you go in every situation and you think, what do I get to do, or I get to do this, I think it can create just a better experience.
Thank you for being my first guest this year on the podcast. I appreciate
Pleasure,
you,
Diana.
Eddie.
My pleasure. It was really fun. Thank you, Diana.